Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So as usual, let's go over the market. Let's see what happened, what we can expect for the remainder of the week, potentially going into next week. And as usual, if you guys enjoyed this video, find it useful, informative, helpful, whatever, don't forget to hit that like button. Ladies and gentlemen, that does help quite a bit. But let's just get right into it. Tesla ending the day down once again, 2%, underperforming the market. As per usual at this point. At this point, it just feels like it's just another day. In all honesty, at this point, it's just another day of Tesla underperforming the market. Like, what else is new? You know what I mean? Because the Nasdaq was only down 0.22%, which is non-existent. Tesla should have been down probably like 0.5% at max, but instead we were down a full 2%, right? Sometimes it just be like that. Unfortunately, lately, it feels like it's all the time, all right? But all that being said and done, guys, that does put us at $183.18, but all that being said, yeah, let's just talk about it. Like, what happened, what we can expect. So, like I said yesterday, we did drop out of this bear flag. And I also mentioned how I personally I don't know, something about this bear flag doesn't scream to me the fact that we're just going to follow down technically the price target of about 150. We absolutely might. I don't want to disregard that whatsoever, but maybe just not yet. I don't know. It's hard to really see that happening at the very moment, mainly because it's just one of those things where, first and foremost, guys, the first thing I see most often, or the most obvious thing, is the fact that Tesla has plummeted really aggressively. Now, I do want to make it very clear, just because something fell this hard, it doesn't mean that there has to be a bounce, right? It feels like there should be, absolutely. It doesn't need to be. For instance, a good example is Shopify. You could have made that argument several times on this. This is a weekly chart, by the way, right? Take a look at the daily version of it, right? You could have made the argument, the fact that we should have got like a beautiful bounce up to like maybe 127, many times over during this drop. It didn't. And this drop essentially from the all-time highs down to, its base, let's just say, which is around this current level right now, was like an 80% fall, right? It's just, kind of food for thought, if you will, right? I don't think that'll happen with Tesla, but it's also not impossible in a market like this. But with that being said and done, I do think Shopify was a specific example, mainly because, they had the whole COVID lockdown stuff that was more of an online thing, similar to Amazon. So it kind of got propelled up higher than usual, same with like, Zoom and stuff like that. While Tesla could make the same argument, just nowhere near to the same extent. Plus, Tesla is a money printing machine. That's just pretty much one of the only few mega caps that is actually still legitimately growing, which is great. Anyway, that's fundamental stuff, right? We're here for technical analysis, right? So all that being said, right, so we did come down to more or less the price target I did talk about yesterday, which I did say I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of retest the 180-ish, maybe even as low as a natural double bottom at this 177. Didn't go that low, but we did come all the way down to that 180, about 180.80 price target or level that I roughly mentioned the other day. Now, the most important thing to note is the fact that we did come down pretty much almost pretty close to as low as this at the very bottom of it. I was keeping track of it back when we were still at this 180.80 roughly. And the RSI was still substantially higher, not substantially higher, but, meaningfully higher than when we were down over here, which is a good start. Again, we're still setting up another potential bullish divergence, though at this point, it's like, it feels like we've set up a lot of those already. And so far, we're still waiting for it to play out. But like I said, on the daily specifically, when you have any form of divergences like this setting up bullish or bearish, because it's the daily, it does take longer for it to truly play out, right? It takes much longer compared to, like, let's say a 15-minute chart or 1 hour chart even, right? So that's just something to very important to keep in mind. Now, on top of this, guys, another red day, we do have another just decreasing volume. So this selling pressure is happening on lower and lower volume, which you can argue is a bullish thing potentially, that the buyers are potentially running out of steam, running out of the volume, right, to continue selling, and there's less and less sellers coming in potentially, right? That's just an argument that you can make. So take that, of course, as you will. Now, moving over to the main indicators, we're still below the 21 EMA, probably below these two bad boys here. So we're pretty much below every meaningful moving indicator, and we're pretty much in between the white and the red line at the very moment. So we'll see where that overall takes us. But the first thing I personally notice is the fact that on the, let's do a 30-minute chart, you can see this little downtrend that we started from this breakdown of this bull flag or bear flag. You can see the fact that, this is a pretty valid line or trend that we are currently in, more or less, where, we have issues breaking above it, right? You can see we touched here, touched all these candles over here, came down, re-ran, I think this was today actually, touched it once again pretty much, and now we're continuing the fall from there. And then last half an hour or so, we did get a nice little rally to the upside, which is great. Now, the thing you want to see in order to break this little small downtrend that we just recently started about 2 days ago is pretty much a break above this line, which would pretty much be somewhere around the 183 to 184 area, right? So pretty close to where we are at the very moment. So I definitely think that might happen. You can see as we had this little run up in the last 30 minutes, you can see the RSI is trying its best to actually peak over these levels over here, which is a decent sign as well for a potential, bullish divergence setting up on the shorter time frame, which to me tells me that, there's a decent chance that tomorrow and today's, wait, what day is it today? Oh, today's Thursday. So I thought today was Wednesday for some reason. That tomorrow might be actually a green day. And if tomorrow's a green day, that tells me that Monday could also potentially be a nice, good chance for another green day, right? So that's something else to keep in mind. On top of that, on a red day, we have a red VIX. You guys know the drill on that. I've explained it several times. I'm not going to go over it again, but that to me, it smells like a bit of a potential small bear trap. So we'll see where that takes us as well, ladies and gentlemen. But that's kind of what I'm seeing at the moment. Right now, if you go on a slightly longer time frame, let's say the 3 hour roughly, you can see, actually let's do 4 hour. You can see the slightly longer, not slightly longer, much longer line up here that we started all the way back from up here roughly, right? Which you can see is the trend that we still ultimately want to break. This is the very, very like aggressive version of it. And if you want to do a lot more of a conservative version, you can easily make the argument that it's something like this roughly, right, where we're just having issues breaking up. But if we can get pretty much back above 195 roughly, I think that can be a potential argument for a reversal to finally start taking place. Or if you want to do the much more less conservative version of it, then you would pretty much want to be breaking above 200. So I would say right now, guys, the most important level, pretty much in my opinion, is still that 200 level. That's where we just recently got rejected. That's the level we really want to break. And I think as long as we can get above, for now, 195 and then 200 and then 204. Those are the three most important levels, right? With, in my opinion, 200 to 204 being probably the most important level range that we really want to break above and really want to start closing candles above them, right? Now, keep in mind, as usual, guys, as I always say, the longer the time frame of a candle closure above a critical or below a critical level, the more validity it brings, right? If we close a 5-minute candle above 204, nothing to get excited about. However, if we start closing, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, daily candles, especially even a weekly candle above those kind of levels, then you can start getting a little bit more excited, right? As the higher time frame increases, because it gives more validity. It kind of shows more strength or weakness, relative to what's happening, of course, right? So that's important to keep in mind as well. But ultimately, I'm feeling pretty good at this level. Like I said, I did buy in my smaller account yesterday. Didn't buy today because 2% is not enough for me to want to continue buying from yesterday's purchase. That's money I'd rather keep just as an emergency in case we fall lower somehow, which it's still very possible. I want to make that very clear. However, I'm personally feeling a little bit optimistic here. I'll be completely honest. I do think tomorrow will be a green day. I'll be surprised if it isn't. On top of that, the SPY, you can see, isn't really breaking too far below key levels now. I don't think it'll break below this channel just yet. And as long as we're within this channel, I personally still think 410 is completely in play. And if we go to 410, hopefully Tesla can finally find some steam and get above certain key levels over here. Hopefully that doesn't just bring us back to 200 to 204. Our SPY goes to 410, and then we pretty much get next to no rally and then just dump along with the market, which I think it still will if we do reach around that 405 to 410 level on SPY. So that's just something else that I'm personally considering. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm seeing. We get a nice little bullish divergence potentially setting up once again on Tesla on the daily. So hopefully that actually finally decides to turn it into something meaningful. But that right now, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm currently seeing. If you have any questions or whatever, let me know down below. Hopefully I'll be able to answer and respond to some of them. But for now, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm expecting. I think tomorrow will be a green day. Don't, of course, quote me on that, right? Not financial advice. Make your own decisions, of course. But I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow is green based on just what I'm seeing at the very moment, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing. Those are the levels, guys. And of course, if you're a bear, the levels you want to pay attention to in order to, potentially have Tesla collapse is going to be pretty much breaking 180 and especially breaking this 177. This kind of 180 to 177 level, very, very important. If Tesla starts closing candles under there, especially on the weekly, that is where things, start getting a little bit scary. Let's just say that for the bulls, and very exciting for the bears. But that's all I have to say, guys. Let me know what you're thinking down below. At the very moment, you can see, unfortunately, as we are making this kind of lower low on the weekly, we are also making a lower low on the weekly RSI, which, isn't great. So, it's still one more day in the week. If we get a nice pump tomorrow, this can definitely fix itself. So we'll see. There's still a chance. Tomorrow can still change quite a bit. So, we'll see what happens there. But tomorrow, I would love to see a nice, beautiful green day to hopefully kind of, try to turn this ship around, let's just say. But that's it, guys. That's what I'm seeing. Let me know what you think. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.